we had a verdict in the case of a Turkish political refugee called Hamit Coskun, who was arrested and prosecuted for burning a copy of the Qur'an outside the Turkish consulate in London. The Free Speech Union and the National Secular Society paid for his defence, and the judge issued a written verdict, which he has just read out in court literally minutes ago. And it wasn't the verdict we were hoping for. He has been convicted on one count, and the judge has adjourned making a decision about the second count, pending whether or not there's an appeal. So it's quite a complicated verdict, and I've been having to work out with my team how to respond to that on our socials, and we need to respond quickly because the story is just breaking. But it's obviously disappointing, and we will help Hamit get that judgment overturned. And if that means appealing it all the way to the European Court of Human Rights, then that's what we'll do.
What's the law under which he could be convicted for that?
Well, he's been accused of a criminal offence under two different laws. One, I have to check. I actually literally have to check. One is Section 5 of the Public Order Act, 1986, and the other, I'll just find the counts. The other is an offence under the Crime and Disorder Act, 1998. But the actual offences are very similar. I'm not sure I understand the difference fully between them. The gist of it is he used disorderly behaviour within the hearing or sight of a person likely to be caused harassment, alarm or distress, which sounds like a pretty broad standard and is a pretty broad standard, and that his disorderly behaviour was religiously aggravated. That is to say, he was motivated in part by a hatred not just of Islam but of Muslims. So it's a religiously / racially aggravated offence that he's been found guilty of. It won't mean that he's sent to prison. The judge hasn't sentenced him yet. That's happening as we speak. But he's likely to be given a fine, and the National Secular Society and the Free Speech Union will pay his fine. But yet, I attended some of the trial last week, and part of the prosecution's evidence that his burning of a copy of the Qur'an had caused members of the public harassment, alarm or distress is that two members of the public attacked him, both Muslims, one wielding a knife. I mean, it was really an extraordinary kind of argument, which is that if a devout Muslim violently attacks you as a result of something you've done, then you're guilty of having caused him harassment, alarm or distress. I mean, it kind of, it's not exactly a heckler's veto, but it's something quite similar to it. That, and it effectively means that non-believers have to respect Islamic blasphemy codes, less disrespecting them in a particularly public way, as in this case, causes them harassment, alarm or distress. And that feels like, a Trojan horse for reintroducing a blasphemy law by the back door, but a blasphemy law that only applies to Muslims or to other religious groups that react in a similarly extreme way. The police generally have given a much wider berth, much more latitude to pro-Palestinian protesters than they have to anti-Islamic protesters. I mean, you'll have heard about the accusation that we have two-tier justice and two-tier policing in the UK, and often what people have in mind when they use those phrases is the extraordinary tolerance the state authorities have shown towards the pro-Palestinian protesters and the intolerance they've shown towards comparable groups of protesters but who've been protesting in a less fashionable way about less fashionable causes.
Just one more question about this case. Were the people who attacked the Turkish protester, were they arrested?
So I think he's been attacked 4 times now, and the Free Speech Union paid for his security. when he came to court today and is going to be paying for his security to take him back to his safe house. But of the 4 people that have attacked him, only 1 is being prosecuted.